On today's episode, we're discussing the importance of bonding rituals in the firehouse and how something as simple as sharing a pot of coffee in the morning can get your shift started right.
The Fireground Company Podcast.
All right, so we've talked a lot about how one of our favorite parts of the day is gathering in the morning over coffee. But I know you, Clint, it's a little more than that for you. I know you have some good thoughts on this. So
The pot of coffee in the morning is an old ritual, and we need rituals.
So what's happened? Why aren't we drinking from the pot of coffee? What's going on right now?
I think there just aren't enough people who drink good, strong coffee anymore. There's, the energy drinks and the tea drinks and everything. You go to a gas station and there's just so many more options. So I think in general, just more people need to drink coffee. Period. That's me. But I think the real problem is that at some point, the people coming out of the job started thinking that participation in this culture is optional, and it didn't used to be that way. On your first day, you showed up and did everything you could to prove that you wanted to be a part of what was going on. And before you even run your first call, one thing you can do is show up early and start a pot of coffee. And, I've heard a couple of times people say, but I don't drink coffee, so why would I make it? And if you're saying that, if you're thinking that way, you're missing the point. It's not about you. That's where we're going wrong. Today's social culture is all about individual expression, right? And I think in the social sphere, that's probably a good thing, right? That's progress. But that's one thing you have to understand is that the firehouse culture is, and it must be, different than the corporate world or the social world. Honestly, even I would say to the people in that realm is that in the modern world, one of the most standout things you can do is stand for something bigger than you. So go ahead on your off days, get your lattes, your Monster energy drinks. I'm not saying you have to, stop enjoying those things. Again, I try to avoid saying you should or you shouldn't, but you can drink your Monster energy drinks on your day off. When you're at the firehouse, you share a pot of coffee with the men.
All right, but I know someone's going to say, why share it? What is why is it that big of a deal?
For that very reason. It's because it's something that you share. You start your shift by sharing something with the people you depend on. And, for one thing, it's a good excuse to get everybody in the kitchen. You tell stories, you make jokes. It's a good way to just ease into the day.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's important with the culture of the firehouse. I the way I look at it is there's a few things I think you can take from it that go beyond just drinking coffee. To simplify it, it builds a togetherness. You're absolutely correct when you say that. It builds the togetherness. It builds teamwork, and sometimes in a silly way, but it still does that. It shows you want to be part of the group, part of the team, especially when you're showing up and you're a younger guy on the job, starting out. Of course, you're looking around for ways to say, hey, I want to be part of this. I want to show you that I'm bought in. I'm trying to do my best, and I want to be a contributing member. So something simple like this, there's other things to it. The responsibility from the young guy perspective of keeping it full, making sure there's always hot coffee ready to go. And the guys are watching that. They're going to watch you.
Mm-hmm.
And are you keeping that pot full? And it's a reflection. That little thing is a reflection of your attention to detail. And now is that detail, are you going to have that attention to detail when it comes to work? So you're reinforcing that I'm someone that I'm paying attention to detail. Speaking to the younger guys, that I pay attention to it. I can be counted on, and I'm bought in. And it was fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the jokes. I love the man, this pot of coffee sucks, or this is really good. It's just fun, that banter back and forth about the nonsense. What kind is it? Is it Folgers? Is it, oh, someone dropped off some Starbucks and I'm not going to drink that. I'm only going to have the Folgers. All that back and forth or whatever it may be. I don't know. It's all fun stuff. There's good little lessons. And I know you have a story about, you told it to me before, about making coffee for the crew and the firehouse. So I think people would love to hear this.
All right. Yeah. I was a rookie. I mean, green as can be, maybe a week on the street. And I'm sitting at the kitchen table doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I had my maps out and my books. I'm studying. I'm sitting there, trying to be locked in. There were a couple other guys around the table, and a very well-respected captain in the department walks in. You know who I'm talking about. He looks around for a minute, and he finally says to me, "Are you the rookie?" I say, yes, sir. He says, "Let me ask you something. Do you like coffee?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." And then he says, "Good. I like coffee too. Would you like some coffee?" And at this point, I look over and I see that the coffee pot is empty, and I'm starting to piece together where this whole thing is going. So I start to say, "Sir, I'd be happy to make a pot of coffee." He says, No. Sit down." He goes over to the coffee maker and he starts making a pot of coffee. And I'm sitting there already because I'm starting to get a hold of this firehouse unwritten rules culture thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm stewing in this situation. And the pot finishes. He grabs a couple of mugs, and of course I'm like, all right, I'm just looking for my chance to fix this. And I say, "Sir, I can pour that for you." He says, No. Sit down, relax. And he pours my mug of coffee right in front of me. And then he looks at the other guys and he says, "Would anybody else like some coffee?" And this captain walks around the table pouring coffee for all the guys, right? So, I mean, it's a little game, but it sent a message loud and clear. And he didn't have to say to me, "Hey, rookie, make some coffee." He sent a message that was more felt than heard, but it taught me to look after the needs of the group and not just myself. And believe me, from that day forward, the pot of coffee was never empty again.
That's it makes me think that that's a sweet spot of the fire department, the culture and tradition, as far as a story like that. What's cool about that is he's teaching you a lesson. He's having fun with it. When you're new, it's putting you on the spot. If you're receptive to the message, oh man, I got to make sure I have this pot of coffee ready to go. And then you take that to the next level. Then there's the guys that have been around for a little while. They're enjoying watching this interaction.
Yes.
Loving every minute of it, because some of them probably were in that spot with whatever that little joke, that little tease is there to send the message. And then at some point, the other fun part is some of these guys are going to get to repeat that. And they're going to be the one that are going to ask the rookie, the new guy about the coffee and everything else. So it's that cycle of, and as you go on, you may not realize that as the new guy or the rookie, but you realize it when the years go by.
Yes.
That you're like, oh, this is so awesome. I love this little, whatever it is. It's something unique to us, man. That's not probably happening in an office. I can't imagine it happening in very many offices nowadays if you actually go to work in an office. But, so I don't know. That's just a little side note. I love that, how it ties into all that stuff. And that's the stuff I love.
That's right.
So as simple as that, what you just said, this is something, do you think it has carryover to how you do the job, how you perform on the Fireground, any of that?
I do. Maybe some people don't realize the power of little things like that, and they're going to argue with me and say there's no way something like that actually has carryover to performance on the job. And different companies have different rituals that bring them together, and I think that's good. Every company is unique. I just like the pot of coffee because I'm old school and it's easy. Every firehouse has a coffee pot. It's an easy thing to tell the rookie to do. But the thing is, when the tones drop, it's too late to build that bond. It's too late. It's time to work. So the little things around the firehouse, they matter. Even if you don't immediately see how, Actually, I brought this book with me. We're going to try something here and read a little passage from a book. This book is called Firehouse.
All right. That's a good one.
Apparently, according to the cover, it was a New York Times bestseller. It's by David Halberstam, who is not in the fire department. He was, I think, a journalist of some kind and kind of wrote this documentary style. And there's a lot of good stuff in this book. And I hope that we can turn our listeners on to some of these books as we go through the podcast. This one is a good one. And it's simple. I'm going to read a little passage here that I thought it jumped out to me. It kind of expresses, even, in a storied fire department like the FDNY, what these little things mean. So here it is. Doing the right thing was equally important. When the men speak of a colleague who does the right thing, they mean he will stay at his post under terrible conditions and not panic. Doing the right thing was going in and risking your life for a trapped civilian or a fellow fireman. Firemen define each other by their codes of honor, which, because of the nature of the job, are mandatory and must be instinctive. The men have to be able to count not just on their officers, but on their buddies. Doing the right thing also involves small, seemingly unimportant things in the firehouse. It begins when you are a probie, and it means following certain customs, such as being the first one to the sink to wash the pots and pans after meals. The firehouse, like the military, is based on doing little things right, because if someone does not do the little things correctly, then he probably won't do the big things correctly. Moreover, in a firehouse, if you do not do your share of the routine work, someone else has to do it for you, in which case you pull down the house, and you are a hairbag. You do not wait for someone to tell you to do it, you just do it. There is an additional reason. Between moments of fearsome danger, there is often a lot of slack time at the firehouse. And if you do not have codes like this, then it would be very easy for people to become lazy and get in a rut, and for the entire house to lose its sense of cohesion and its purpose. That says it pretty well. And it was also nice for me to see that that's coming from another department, that people recognize the importance of these little rituals. It's little things,
Yeah, for sure.
So I got to ask you, Cap, as an officer in a firehouse, where do we go from here? How do we emphasize the importance of these little rituals, like sharing a pot of coffee?
What you just said, it doesn't have to be that long, but take the opportunities as far as talking about the little bit of responsibility that you show by watching out to make sure the coffee pot's full. And it also, again, it shows you care about the other fellas. So even if you're the officer and you notice it's getting low, start making another pot. A lot of times what'll happen if things are, I guess, functioning perfectly, usually have the most junior guy runs up there and then he grabs it from you, and let him do that. And that it's showing that, yeah, he's watching and he cares and everything else. So again, it's a little bit of a game like that, but that's something helpful. Just point it out when the opportunity presents itself. Don't ram it down their throat as far as, I mean, yeah, that works sometimes and works in some places. You got to read your audience. You got to read, again, the culture of your fire department, the people you're working with. Every firehouse is different, and these things you have to apply in different ways. And I've talked to you about this before. I always like saying, find the other person, find another person. So if you guys aren't doing that, try and find one other guy that wants to start doing it, and just make it a little thing. And hopefully you have other people that notice it and want to get in on, the pot of coffee, sharing it, and just have fun with it. Make it a fun thing. And you go from there and see what traction you get from that. And, I think it's going to be helpful. It will. Little things are helpful, and we build on little things to make big things. So,
yeah. And one day on this podcast, beyond, once we've taught everybody to drink from a shared pot of coffee, we'll teach you also to drink black coffee.
Yeah, I know you have very strong feelings about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else? Kind of think we're wrapping this up. We want to say about this. Any other little, I don't know, coffee tips aside from drink your coffee black and make sure the pot is full. I don't know. We can talk about how much we like those old school styrofoam cups in the TV show. They're probably not great for you, but man, I don't know, something cool about that. Old school.
Iconic.
Yeah, iconic. Yes, good word. Good word.
Yeah, so I'll do my little bit here at the end. Here we go. The pot of coffee in the morning, it's a ritual. Not everything is about individual comfort or preference. The shared pot of coffee, we make it for each other. We top off mugs for each other. When it's out, we make more for each other. Whether the pot is too strong or too weak, we take part together. If you remove the intricate rhythms of the firehouse, it becomes another job. If it becomes another job, then anyone can do it. And if anyone can do it, then we're just civilians at work. And if we're civilians at work, we're not equipped to handle situations outside of the civilian realm. We are paid, and more importantly, trusted to know what to do when no one else does. So we have to hold ourselves to higher standards. We have to hold our peers to those standards. And to do that, we have to bond with, trust, and respect the members of our company more than is common in other places. Trust of that kind requires a type of buy-in and culture which is not found in the individual habits of modern society. We have to protect our rituals and traditions, especially the insignificant ones, because they are the foundation of firehouse life. We don't get as many chances to bond on big jobs anymore. So we have to find ways to maintain the trust and reliability of our companies in other ways. The shared pot of coffee in the morning is a good place to start.
Well, I think that sums it up. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Check us out at firegroundcompany.com. You'll find links to all our social media accounts and our YouTube channel, and you'll stay up to date on everything we're working on. We also have a store on our website where you can support us as we grow this community, plus working on some great courses to help you strengthen your leadership in the fire department and support its traditions and culture. Last but not least, subscribe to the podcast, give us a rating, leave a comment, spread the word, get this out to the firefighters who are hungry to make the job even better.
So I just had to share this story with you, especially after coming off of the coffee pot episode. And I like coffee pots. We talk about the Bun coffee maker that's in every firehouse and gas station and all that. And that's honestly my favorite cup of coffee. And I just can't get behind these single cup makers. But my parents, they've worked hard enough in life, got to a point where they can enjoy some of the finer things in life. And one of those things is my mom has this coffee maker that's built into the wall, and it's just this incredible piece of machinery, and it can make anything you want. It's basically a barista in a machine form. It'll make anything for you. And I don't really understand it, and I'm just trying to get a cup of coffee out of this thing. So I put my mug under the little spout, and I press some buttons, and I hear it making these noises and stuff, and it makes this cup of coffee, and I take it, and I take a sip of it, and it's awful. It's like cold, and it's really watery. I mean, just really disgusting. I spit it out in the sink. I was, what is this? And of course, I'm getting ready to go on a big rant about, this is exactly what's wrong. You have this fancy machine that makes coffee, and it comes out and it's gross. And then I looked at the screen and I saw that it said cleaning process complete. And I realized that
That's awesome.
I had drank the little.
Hopefully there's not a chemical in there.
There might be, what serves me right.
Yeah.
Just attention to detail. So I drank the swill that comes out of the machine when it cleans itself, which is probably why it was so gross.
Yeah, toughen you up. You'll be good.
Yeah.
The Fireground Company Podcast.